It's Wednesday, June 7th, and again, we have the opportunity and grace of Hector Ramirez to join us. And thank you again for hanging out with us. Hector, you and I just spent the last 20 minutes chatting about what's going on, what we're going to talk about, and I'm just so charged up about what's going on in this market. Is crazy, right?
Really an interesting time. I mean, I know it maybe sound like a broken record, right? We keep talking about it, but it just is, right? Especially for some of us that live, breathe, just every day. This is kind of part of our life, and it's so important to really understand what's happening and be able to speak to our clients and be able to guide them along the path where they're looking to buy or sell. But just so many things happening right now that it is just it's kind of mind-boggling sometimes.
Yeah. The intention of these videos aren't to talk, sell us. Obviously, it is to sell us, but really, it is to give somebody else another point of view from people that have been in the market for a long time, have been in this industry for a really long time, and you've done this for a super long time, and I live and breathe it, like you said too. Like I was going to say I dream it, but the more we talk about it, the more we talk about it from an educational standpoint, I think we can help more people. And that's really what the purpose of these videos are. And I appreciate you coming on and hanging out with us.
Yeah, always fun.
Yeah. So, we started talking, I'm going to get over here real quick. Where did we start talking about? We started talking about the market and lack of inventory.
Yeah, I mean, just really kind of home appreciation, right? Home appreciation data just came out, right? And so that really just spawned this crazy conversation about, inventory and, all the data around that. And then, how the market in a sense has turned this year, right? And then
Right.
when we look at this comes from the good people at MBS Highway, where they compare, all the data on home appreciation, right? And we can see that, by the way, MBS, their projection of appreciation for the year was about 5 to 6%, somewhere in that range, right? And what they do here is they show us, this is across the country, based on all the different companies, if you will, that measure data, how home appreciation looks this year, right? And we can see that in January we were negative, basically, or flat, right? And that was kind of carried on from what we saw last year, right? We talked about this, right? Since June of last year, we saw the home price starting to soften up, right? So we saw that instead of going far above asking, we saw that number starting to get very close to asking, and in some months dip below asking price, right? And this is across the table, not necessarily one particular city or county. And that carried on into January of this year, and then by February, right, we started to see, and I think this speaks to what I was talking about even last week with you, right? Like where rates have normalized, right? People have come to terms that, hey, you know what, rates aren't, they almost hit 8% last year. They've been hovering in that 5-6% range, and we've come to terms that, hey, that's the new norm, and we saw definitely on the mortgage application side an influx of people wanting to get reapproved or just get approved, and step into the market, right? And we've been seeing this over the last even month everywhere in Northern California. We've had multiple offer situations. It's been absolutely red hot.
Yep.
Right. And going back to this chart really is just showing that how much homes are appreciating on a month to month basis, right? And so we see it in February, the average appreciation about 0.2%. We see it again in March. Now April figures are coming out, and they're moving in that upward trajectory, right? And so, obviously inventory is extremely tight, and when you have an influx of buyers and very few homes, what happens, right? People will get more aggressive, which will continue to increase the value of homes, right? So if you're a homeowner, this is great, right? If you're a seller, it's good news, right? If you're a buyer, it's very similar to what we've been experiencing for the last couple of years.
Right. I think we missed the boat. Well, if you haven't bought a house yet, I think you missed the boat. I think, granted, tomorrow the economy might crash or whatever, but if we see the trends continuing the way we are, median sales are back up. And so the great thing about this chart is it shows a backwards view of the last, 60 to 120 days. So this is a snapshot 60 to 100 days behind us, right? And these are from multiple points of experts showing. Sorry, I lost you there for a half a second.
Yeah, you went mute.
Did I mute? Am I still mute?
No, you're good now.
Okay. So if you look at the FRED data, which is it's the St. Louis Federal Reserve, right? That they report monthly on what's going on. And it's the same data, but from their point of view. And they're seeing, back in June last year, April was really when we peaked out in our market. Hello. Is that your dog?
No.
June, we peaked out at 413,000 median across the nation. That originally was 416, so they adjusted it, right? And they're going back and adjusting these numbers as they need to, because as time comes by, they get more and more data, and there's over 220 metropolitan areas and multiple more markets that they have to collect data from. So it's not automatic; it's just still a human-based thing. This thing right here, right now in April, we're saying 388, that's the increase that you're seeing on this slide that we're talking about, right?
Yep, it's right in line with appreciation rates. It's right in line with so many other, statistics that we measure. On the lending side, there's a lot of mortgage applications, right?
Right.
All along, and again, it just speaks to that, right? Did we miss our boat? I mean, not necessarily, right? It definitely depends on each buyer's situation, but in terms of price and the lowest price, absolutely, right? And that's the thing. That we talk about, and I learned personally as a home buyer many years ago. It's like you can't ever time a market, because you never know that you hit rock bottom until you're going back up again, right? So it's like, and data always follows, right? It's always kind of in the rear view mirror, right?
You'll never know when the bottom of the market is, and this is what we've been telling people for the last couple of years. You'll never know when the market hits rock bottom. And I think we've missed that part, but you know what? Now's the time to buy. It's always when it makes financial sense for you, whether you're buying, you have a new baby, you have to get a new house, or you want to finally buy a house. Don't wait, because hang on a second. We lost Hector again. Keep losing you, man. What's wrong with your?
Me, man. What's going on?
Yeah, you're offending me. I'm going to cancel you.
Something I said.
I think it's your internet, because you're kind of wobbly.
Really?
But if you think about it, I have people that have waited 8 years for the market to hit rock bottom, and I haven't heard hide and hair from them. And you wait and you wait and you put money away and you save and you save. And every day you save $1, you're seeing that same house that you could have bought 8 years ago go up 5% every year, 5 to 10%, right? And if it was $1 million 8 years ago, guess what? It's now worth $1.5 million. So that equity could have been in your pocket instead of somebody else's pocket. So
absolutely.
I keep looking at this market and go, God, how much more can it go? And it's going to continue to go. I don't think it's going to stop. And I know affordability is an issue, but at the same time, there's other products out there that can help get you into houses that aren't as toxic as those pick-a-pay loans that we had back in 2008, 2009.
Yeah, the majority of those loans are far behind us. I mean, we still, because the market is so tough, there's still very good loan products out there, right? There's still, I mean, when you look at even a first-time home buyer, program, right? Like very low down payment, right? Low to no down payment, right? If the market wasn't so strong, investors wouldn't offer those programs, right? Fannie and FHA wouldn't back those type of programs, right? So it speaks to the to the message that, hey, the market is still really strong. You have the ability to get very good loan products. But yeah, the days of having very, very risky loans with zero down, and you're not even covering the interest on a loan, are far behind us. I think we learned our lesson from '08.
Yeah, well, it was dangerous. When I sold houses to the people then, and I looked at that, I'm like, "Are you sure that's what you want to do?" Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's fine. Everything it will work out fine. I totally understand. I'm like, that sounds pretty risky. I don't. I don't. I mean, is there something else that you can buy? I mean, is there another kind of loan? No, this is great. This works out perfect. And in their head, the buyer's head, they're like, oh, I don't have to pay interest. I mean, I don't have to pay down principal. I don't have to pay down. I can do a minimum payment just like a credit card. And that's where people got into trouble.
Yeah, we were just misinformed, right? And that's a
Yeah.
lot of what we do today, right? Is education, right? We talk about
Right.
the market, we talk about different products, and it's for that reason, right? It's to give consumers very good advice and information, right?
Right.
At the end of the day, in today's market, there's really is no right and wrong with products. It's really right about what's best for you, right?
Right.
And that's why we do talk about so much stuff, from inventory to the economy to loan programs, right?
Right.
It's really to just give some good information so that consumers can make the best decision.
Exactly. And that's what that chart is about, really. I mean, you think about this. This is why I'm saying you missed the bottom of the market, but now is the time to buy, because what happens if the median price above, or if for Santa Clara County goes above $2 million, you're missing out again, right? And that's my argument is, don't miss out. Don't put it off until later, because if you're waiting for the market to crash,
On your chart there that you're moving around, what's the height there? Is that like May, June of 22? Is
it was
that
here on the median price for Santa Clara County? We peaked at April 22.
April? Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and if you look at the median sales price here, it was June. So it took a little bit longer for the rest of the market to contract,
which is normal.
Yeah. And look, what we're showing you on these slides here, this is 60 to 90 days back, 120 days back. This is still about the same thing. And these numbers here, these numbers that you're seeing, this is this last week, but these numbers are really 30 days behind, right? They're 30 days behind because it takes 30 days to close on a house.
Everything we look at in real estate is at least 30 days behind.
And the most important thing for us to do is have Hector talk about how many loan applications are out there and what the current market's like. And he mentioned it before. You mentioned it before. Loan apps are up. You're still fighting. You're having 20, 30 offers on every house, right? You're competing. That's today.
Yeah, it's nuts right now, because it's kind of a perfect storm, but in a bad sense, because we are. We have a ton of activity, right? Again, we have a lot of motivated buyers out, right? This has been picking up gradually every month, this year, right? Since January. Right. And then over the last couple of weeks, with some of the news, it's affected interest rates, mortgage interest rates, right? And so we had an increase in rates over the last couple of weeks. And, our average conventional loan right now is around 7%, maybe a little bit higher today. Right. And so you've got a ton of offers and offers going well over asking, right? At the same time, from when most of our consumers were approved, the interest rates have gone up. Right. And so, one thing that I heard yesterday was, a realtor speaking of here in the Bay Area and the East Bay, that a lot of deals are falling out, right? Because, hey, the buyers out there, they finally get into contract, and then they go back with their lender, they revisit numbers, and they realize that if they do qualify, that their payments higher, right? Because rates have gone up, right? A quarter, 0.5%, maybe more in certain cases, right? And so it's extremely difficult right now. The media hasn't really caught up. We're right in this lull where we have rates are up, yet competition's way up too, right? And normally those are inverse, right? Normally those are inverse, right? When rates go up, we see prices start to soften, right? As you showed us, right? Since April, our prices started to soften. We were at or below asking. We're getting a ton of seller credit. Then that started to turn a little bit a couple months ago, since February, right? At the same time, our rates had kind of subsided a little bit, right? They had normalized. People had come to terms with, okay, interest rates are in the 5-6%, a little bit higher. I'll live with that, right? And then now, over the last few weeks, really since about a little after May 10th, we saw a raise in rates, and so here we are, like right in the middle, right? And so really challenging right now for a lot of buyers. And we'll hear about what things we're talking about today. We'll hear it in the news and the media over the next week or two, right? As it kind of really hits that.
Right. And I'll tell you straight up, if you're a buyer and you're struggling to get into a house right now, your best bet is to find houses that have been on market for a lot longer than 6 or 7 days, because those are still being competed against. You're still seeing it's like Little League soccer, right? Remember Little League soccer, where everybody starts off playing position. Let me get this out of here. Everybody starts off playing position, right?
Spread
Reds
out.
and blues, and then the ball gets kicked over to this corner, and everybody plays over here. That's how real estate is. And then the ball gets kicked over here, and it's the new shiny object. And in my marketing side, that's what I am. I'm the cat that chases the shiny red dot all over the wall. But when I talk to people and buyers about buying homes, don't go after the house that has been on market less than 7 days. If you're struggling with payment, you're struggling with down payment, you're struggling with the value or what have you, let's look at houses that have been on market a little bit longer. They're not going to be perfect. They're not going to be your forever home, but you're still going to be able to jump into the market. And over the next 5 to 10 years, you can improve that house. That's what I did with this house. I bought it for $690, and it was an original everything. Nothing about the house had ever been taken care of. It had $25,000, $30,000 worth of termite damage. It had panel. It had single pane windows. I've been here for 20 years, and every year I dump a little bit of money into it and make it just a little bit better. And that's really how you can improve on your generational wealth, on your wealth, right?
Absolutely.
So you can take a look at these houses.
That's not quite as desirable for everyone else, but you look past that and understand that over time you'll slowly improve and upgrade the house, and tie that in with the fact that homes continue to gain value every month, as we showed on our previous chart, right? And next thing you know, you're sitting on a whole bunch of equity.
Yeah. I mean, look, you can buy these houses. Well, that's a condo. So typically I look at just single family houses, but you and I spoke about how many houses are active in Santa Clara County right now. Now, before it was 1144 or whatever, we have this thing called members only. And I took those off because the numbers there really don't help out. Because if you take those off, let's see if I can take that off real quick. There, 1148, right? There's a whole lot more, but if you look at the results, see that little cross right there? It means it's on market, but you can't show it. So it's coming soon. So they're trying to catch the market off.
We can't see the chart right now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, thanks for telling me that 5 minutes ago.
No,
there. So the little red thing here says that they're members only, which means it's coming soon. That's their little tricky thing. But when there's a red cross on it, it means that we can't show it. So they're marketing the house, but they're not allowed to market the house. So it's bullshit.
So MLS allows you to basically put it on MLS kind of prior to actually hitting the market, right?
Right. So, look at this bad boy. $53 million. Yeah, look at that. Who wants to buy that?
No.
I will take you there today. You just have to get qualified through. Let's see. This one on Fillmore. Oh, you know what? This is crap. This is a rendering of a house on Fillmore. I sold a house.
Is that a new build then?
Yeah. Well, no, it's a standard house right there, but they're trying to sell it for more money than what it's worth because they have an architectural drawing on it.
So is it land though, or is it a tear down?
It's a full on tear down. It's like a tear down, right? It's just an older house. There's nothing wrong with the house. Oh, I guess it is land. Huh.
So they probably have the architectural plans to.
Maybe it burned down. Yeah. Yeah. Huh. Okay. Whatever.
What are they selling that piece for then? $1,200, $1.2 million?
$1.3 million for the opportunity to build a house on it.
You're kidding.
I love it. It's nowhere else. I'm just trying to find a house real quick that makes sense for us to look at. Like Morgan Hill, on market, over a year, 5-bedroom. Let's take a look at this guy. Oh, it's only $9 million.
Uh-huh.
Look at that. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, that's a nice.
A little too stately for me. Try to find something decent in San Jose. And this is a duplex. So yeah, you can do this. House hack this sucker.
Nice.
Yeah, it's
1.4.
It's a single family, but looks like it has an ADU on it. Oh, nice and original. Oh.
The seller took pictures there. I love it.
Yeah.
So is that a duplex or is that zoned as is that a single family?
I think it's a single family with an ADU.
Got it.
I don't know why they had two separates on there, but that's the way things go sometimes.
It had two addresses. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, you can tell on that one, it's priced too high.
Yeah. Oh, look at that one. There's a fixer.
Oh, I think I've seen that off of Santa Teresa.
Yeah. Just trying to find something that's semi-affordable. There's a townhouse, Rancho Manor, $131 days on market. Palo Alto, downtown Palo Alto, $1.4 million.
What's the HOA on that one? 900? No.
Oh, it's a 55 plus too. Oh, what? That's got to be a mistake.
That's got to be a mistake. Yeah, 5,400. I was expecting it to be high, but not that high.
That's ridiculous. You can go to Villages for a lot better.
Yeah, and those are about 1,000 or more per month.
Yeah, but if you want to be completely socialized and keep active and play golf, and there's so many clubs. I was just talking about it with my buddy Wayne today at the gym. They have pickleball, and there's a waiting list to get on the pickleball club. Right?
They're great. I've financed several of those, and my clients love them. And they're at that age, right? And it's perfect for them.
Yeah. Let's see, Almaden Road, townhouse. I don't see the HOA. If it's a townhouse.
That looks like a home, though.
Yeah. So anyway, going back to this whole thing, the market's out there.
Those that are sitting, it looks like they're just very high priced.
They're overpriced. The main reason why houses don't sell is because of price, based on the location, condition, and the market conditions, right? 2 years ago, before April happened, we knew the market was going to slow down January, February. We were confirmed in March, and April we saw it peak. Before that, back in 2021, you can write any number out there. Houses were selling off you had 30, 40 offers on every house you listed, right? Today, you have to be a little more crafty. You have to actually earn your living and be careful about what you're selling it at, because more and more houses will sell on market, or will sell over if you have it priced right. If it's priced based on the condition, like my listing on Phyllis, we listed it $288,000 over the lowest list price house in that area based on square footage. Our house was 50 square feet bigger, but the condition was the same. So we had it listed way a lot higher, and they were concerned. They were like, "Oh, we'll take whatever offer we can get. We'll even go 1.8 or 1.6 if it comes in." I'm like, "I don't think you have to worry about that." And the first Saturday open house, we had 131 people come through, sets of people come through, and we had 19 offers, and we got it 2.551. It was the final sales price. So from 1888 to 2.55, it's 35% over, and 7 days on market was glorious.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So, but if you have your house listed over or whatever, or you do something wonky like what we're seeing, like you have a spare lot and you think it's worth $1.3 million and it's on market for a year,
Yeah.
don't blame the agent when it doesn't sell.
Basically.
Don't blame the agent when it doesn't sell, because it's the price, right? You set the sellers set the list price, the buyers determine the final price. And if the buyers aren't buying, there's something wrong with the house. Period. Okay, let's talk about what else. What else do you want to talk about?
Tell me.
I don't know. We've been talking for 26 minutes. Actually, we've been talking a lot longer. Yeah, that's pretty much it on my end. I can tell you that we do this thing called HomeBot. A little sales pitch, right? HomeBot. If you're wondering what your value of your house is, jump in there, and that's an AVM, or an automated valuation, just like Realtor, just like whatever, Zillow. But when you sign on to that, I'll send you a more accurate human.
That's a really nice tool that you share with your clients. Right?
Yeah.
It gives to them, monthly newsletters, monthly or weekly newsletters, depending on how you have it set up. That really gives very good information about their property, their home value, the community, and it also even gets into, appreciation, equity and appreciation, right? To show whether, you have, it'll give you some very good kind of ideas if you do have, equity. With your equity, what you can do, right? Whether it's capital improvements, something that you want to do to your house, it's going to increase the value and make it, better to live in, or whether you want to leverage some of the equity in your home to maybe make another purchase.
Right.
So and really, really nice tool.
I know when you turned me on to that, that was like, oh, that is going to be really awesome. And the thing is, people contact me about this all the time, and we go in and talk about, and nothing's perfect, right? I can give you a very, very detailed picture of where the market is. This gives you a detailed market, but it's a little wider of a breadth. The difference is I do it myself versus an AI does it, or a HomeBot. The HomeBot does it. The algorithm does it. You don't know what the value of the house is until you put it on market, and it really doesn't matter.
True.
But with Hector, you can actually take this you can actually take that idea and learn how to leverage what equity you have, and maybe buy another house or another duplex or fourplex or a small apartment block. Or you can take it and invest it into a REIT or what have you, right? And I think that's the most important thing of this, is it opens your eyes to what the potential is with the money that you have.
Yeah, it's a great tool. I even share it with buyers or prospective buyers because it can be used to understand values and the trends behind them. And then it also gives good community information. Like if you're looking in a certain area, it will give you some background on some of the nice, some of the stuff that's happening in that community, right? So it is actually a really great tool.
Yeah.
And, one that we share with most of our clients or prospective buyers.
And the cool thing too is you could take it and, it's funny. This is an article that I was going to bring on earlier if you didn't show up. And I was going to talk about what house hacking is, right? You can buy a house now you have to qualify for your house, right? You have to qualify with the income if it's just a house. But if you buy a duplex or a fourplex, you can rent out the other units and use that income towards your qualification. With the house, if you bought a single family house and say it was a 4-bedroom and you're single, you can buy a house. You have to qualify for it with your income and your down payment, but then you can rent out the other rooms and then use that income to pay for your mortgage. Want to talk about that a second?
Sure. I think, this has become really popular, especially with like kind of the millennials. But it's, I think it's, one of the best things you can do. Right? Today,
Right.
For instance, you can put as low as 3.5% down on a multi-unit, 2 to 4 unit property, 3.5% down. So you can buy $1 million fourplex. You can put $35,000 down, and you have to buy it as your owner occupied, right? So you're going to live in one unit, and then just as you mentioned, what we do as lenders is we take the rents on the other units, and we're able to use those as your own income, right? So it helps you qualify for more than you normally would, right? If you were buying a single family, right? And it's, I think it's one of the best ways to break into real estate. If you're comfortable living in that type of environment, in a duplex or fourplex, at least for the first year, it is the very best way to break through into real estate and make a really great investment.
At least it's a cushion, right? It's one option that a lot of people that I've been talking to lately, we're talking about how house hacking or buying a fourplex and getting into it. And you do it once a year. Think about it. You buy a house once a year or fourplex once a year, and then you live in it for a year. And then next thing you know, you can rent out your unit and buy another fourplex, and you just keep building wealth that way.
Absolutely.
And after 5-10 years, you have a huge amount of equity built into it, and you sell all the houses, and you have a huge down payment for a nice house that you want.
Sure. Or you just leverage, you borrow from one or multiple properties to buy your next one.
Yep. Well, dude, I got to cut this short. My stager can't get into the house that I'm listing down in Morgan Hills, so I got to go race down to do it.
Gotta run. Hey man, thanks a lot for your time. I always appreciate coming on and talking shop with you.
It's always a blast having you. We'll see you next week. And everybody, thanks for watching. I'm Vito Skarnecki with Abitano, and this is
Hector Ramirez, your mortgage expert. Talk to you guys next time.
We'll see you out there.
Bye-bye.